Hello guys, what's up? It's the Waffordus. I'm here for another Star Rail video. So since we already did looking over the free-to-play characters and the 4-star characters, it is now time to look at the 5-star characters. I am here using pridewin.gg as always, as you see, and we're going to start off with our first character, Bailu. She is a 5-star Lightning Abundance character. She's the only 5-star healing unit in the game so far. But we're going to check it out real quick, no problem. So her basic, deal lightning damage to enemy. Easy peasy. Her skill, heals a single ally based on her max HP. Then heals a single ally 2 more times. After each healing, the outgoing healing for the next healing is reduced by 15%. So it kind of looks like when she heals something, it'll bounce. I don't know if it's the same ally twice or if it'll bounce, you know, heal, heal, heal. But we'll see. Her ultimate heals all allies for her based on her max HP. For allies that are not already invigorated, Bailu invigorates them. For those who are already invigorated, Bailu makes their invigoration last 1 turn, or makes their invigoration last 1 more turn. Invigoration can last for 2 turns. This effect cannot stack. I don't know what invigoration is yet. We'll probably learn from her talent, but that's a good amount of healing for all allies. And let's check out her talent. When an invigorated ally is hit, heals the ally for based off her max HP plus that. This effect can trigger up to 2 times. When an ally is knocked down, Bailu immediately heals them for 22% of her max HP. This effect can only be triggered 1 time per battle. So invigorate is like a heal over time, but every time you get hit, you heal, kinda. Her technique. After using her technique at the start of the next battle, all allies are invigorated for 1 turn. So you just get invigorate right away. All sounds good to me. Her traces. When Bailu heals a target ally above their normal max HP, that target's max HP increases by 10% for 2 turns. So she gives them a little extra HP on top. Invigoration can trigger 1 extra time, so another turn of that, or another trigger. Invigorated characters relieve 10% less damage. So she makes everybody a little bit more tanky. Idolin 1. If the target ally's current HP is equal to their max HP when invigoration ends, Bailu additionally regenerates 8 energy for this target. Oh, so if they're invigorated and have the HP, they have max HP, they get some energy. That sounds pretty decent to me. E2, after using her ultimate, her outgoing healing increases by an additional 15% for 2 turns. So when she uses her ultimate, her skill does more heal. That's good. E3, skill level up. E4, every healing provided by Bailu's skill makes the recipient deal 10% more damage for 2 turns. This effect can stack up to 3 times. That's gross. I like that. E5, ultimate up. E6, Bailu can heal 2 downed allies in total in 1 battle. So Bailu brings a revive factor, which no other character has, and there's no skill or anything that does that except for her. I think that's pretty busted. Now we're going to move on to Bronya. Bronya is a 5-star wind harmony character. Her basic attack, wind damage. Bronya's skill, dispels a debuff from a single ally, advance forward their action by 100%, increases their damage. That's good. What it does is like, oh, you just took your turn, so let's do this, and you got another turn, and they deal more damage. So she's good with any team that you want damage done. Bronya's ultimate, increase the attack of all allies and increase their crit damage based off her crit damage. That's pretty good. So you build Bronya with crit damage to make this even better. Talent. After using her basic attack, Bronya's next action will be advance forward. So she gets a little faster the more she attacks. After using Bronya's technique in the next battle, all allies attack increase by 15%. Sounds good to me. Bronya's basic attack crit rate increases to 100%. Whoa. That's kind of gross. But it's only her basic attack. I mean, that's only when she deals damage, so it doesn't matter. But you don't want to have to worry about putting crit rate. So everything you build on her would be crit damage. So that could just be disgusting. At the beginning of the battle, increase all allies' defense by 20% for 2 turns. That sounds good to me. When Bronya is on the field, all allies deal 10% more damage. So just more damage increase. On to her Eidolons. E1. Using Bronya's skill has a 50% chance, a 50% fixed chance of recovering 1 skill point. So if she uses it, she could get a skill point. That's good. E2. After the ally targeted by Bronya's skill takes action, their speed increases by 30% for 1 turn. E4. After an ally uses a basic attack on an enemy with wind weakness, Bronya immediately launches a follow-up attack on the target, dealing wind damage equal to 80% of Bronya's basic attack damage. This effect can only be triggered 1 time per turn. So, I mean, it'd always be a crit because it'd be I don't know. I think follow-up attack is different. E6. The ally damage boost effect of Bronya's skill extends its duration by 1 turn. That's good. Always like to extend. Bronya seems to be really, really good support character. She increases damage, she increases crit damage, she increases turn speed. All good for me. Now we're going to go on to the next one. And now we're on to Clara. Clara is a 5-star physical destruction character. She seems to be a counter character from what I remember correctly. Her basic attack deals physical damage. Clara's skill deals physical damage equal to 60% of Clara's attack to all enemies, deals additional physical damage equal to 60% of Clara's attack to enemies marked by Svarog with a mark of counter. All marks of counter will be removed after skill is used. Her ultimate. After using her ultimate, damage dealt to Clara is reduced by additional 15%, and Clara has greatly increased chance of being attacked by enemies for 2 turns. In addition, Svarog's counter is enhanced. When an ally is attacked, Svarog is guaranteed to launch counters. With its counter damage multiplier on the enemy increased by 96%, adjacent enemies take 50% of the damage dealt to the target enemy. Enhanced counter can take effect twice. So she does her ultimate, she gets hit, she deals damage, and it looks like that damage hits adjacent enemies too. That's pretty good. Her talent. Under the protection of Svarog, Clara's damage taken is reduced by 15%. Svarog will mark enemies who attack Clara with marked counter and retaliate with the counter, dealing physical damage equal to 80% of her attack. And those, that's pretty good. It's better than her basic attack. It's better than her skill attack too. Technique. Immediately attacks the enemy. Upon entering battle, the chance of Clara will be attacked by enemies increases for 2 turns. So she puts a taunt on herself. Clara's Traces. When Clara is attacked, there's a 35% fixed chance to remove a debuff currently applied to her. So a little bit of cleanse. It's not very not going to happen all the time though. Her res to crowd control debuffs increases by 35%. I still don't know what that means. I'm assuming slow or whatever. Increases Farog's counter damage by 30%. That's pretty good. More damage is always good, especially for a destruction character. So her Eidolons. E1. Using Clara's skill will not remove the mark of counter on the enemy. That's good. After using Clara's ultimate, her attack increases by 30%. That's also good. E4. After being hit, damage taken by Clara is reduced by 30%. This effect lasts until the start of her next turn. That's good. So she could get hit multiple times. So that first time she'll take whatever damage, but the next time she gets hit, she'll take less damage. E6. After other allies are hit, Svarog also has a 50% fixed chance to trigger a counter on the attacker and mark them with a mark of counter. When using Clara's ultimate, trigger an additional 1 enhanced counters. So that means when she uses her ultimate, she has 3 of the enhanced counters. The enhanced counters are the ones that do blast damage. The regular counters only do it on the single enemy that hits them. Okay, that makes sense. I'm really hoping I pull Clara. I would love to have a just counter build, but we'll see when the game releases. So our next one is Gepard. Gepard is a 5-star ice preservation character. His basic deals ice damage to the enemy. His skill deals ice damage equal to 100% of Gepard's attack to a single enemy with a 65 base chance to freeze that enemy for 1 turn. So that's all good. And they take damage from an ice DOT. His ultimate: apply a shield to all allies, absorbing damage equal to 36% of Gepard's defense for 3 turns. That's a big shield. I think that's bigger than the Fire Trailblazer. Time for his talent. When struck with a killing blow, instead of becoming incapacitated, Gepard's HP immediately restores. The effect can only be triggered once per battle, so he revives himself. That's cool. I didn't know that. So he's like the ultimate tank. His technique: after using Gepard's technique, when the next battle begins, apply a shield to all allies, absorbing damage equal to 24% of Gepard's defense. 2 turns. He's just a wall. That's all he is a wall. His traces: Gepard has a higher chance to be attacked by enemies. That's good for a tank. When the unyielding will is triggered, Gepard's energy will restored by 100%. That's really good. So if he dies, drops to the ground, gets right back up, and he could use his ultimate. That's good stuff. Gepard's attack increases by 35% of his current defense. So he's kind of like Noelle. I mean, without the team healing. Gepard's Eidolons. E1. Base chance for Gepard's skill to freeze increased by 35%. So it goes from 65 to 100%. E2. After an enemy frozen by Gepard's skill is unfrozen, their speed is reduced by 20% for 1 turn. E4. When Gepard is in battle, all allies' effect res increases by 20%. That is really good, especially against like certain simulated universe bosses, or maybe even the Forgotten Memory bosses. That would be really good. E6. When his talent is triggered, Gepard's action is advanced forward by 100% and he restores extra HP equal to 50% of his max HP. So theoretically, he could die, come back up, have his ultimate, have his turn, and have max HP. That's kind of nutty. I kind of like that. That's kind of like strong. Now we're going to go on to Himeko. If anybody's ever watched me play Honkai Impact 3rd, they know I love Himeko. Himeko is a 5-star fire erudition character. So she's an AoE striker. Her basic attack deals fire damage. Himeko's skill is a blast attack. So it hits 1 enemy and hits the 2 adjacent enemies. Deals fire damage to all enemies. Additionally, Himeko regenerates 10 energy for each enemy defeated. That could be good. When her talent: when an enemy's weakness is broken, Himeko gains a stack of charge, max 3 stacks. If Himeko is fully charged, deal fire damage to all enemies after an ally performs an attack and consumes all charge stacks. Gain 1 stack of charge at the beginning of the battle. So that's a follow-up attack. So you start off with 1. Break 1, you break another attack, and then that happens, and then you keep going. After using Himeko's technique, use a satellite beam to create a burning zone that lasts for 15 seconds. When entering battle in the burning zone, there is a 100% base chance to increase fire damage taken by all enemies by 10% for 2 turns. So just more fire damage. Himeko's traces: basic attack has an 80% chance to burn enemies for 3 turns. Her skill deals 20% more damage to enemies currently inflicted with burn. More damage, so you burn enemies and then you deal more damage if they are inflicted with it. So that's good. When Himeko's attack is at 80% of max HP required, her crit rate is increased by 15%. So just keep her HP up. Maybe put her in a team with Clara. E1. After Victory Rush is triggered, Himeko's speed increases by 20% for 2 turns. E2. Deals 15% more damage to enemies with HP values equal to 50% of their max HP or less. Her E4. When her skill breaks an enemy's weakness, Himeko additionally gains 1 stack of charge. That is gross. So she could if she breaks the enemy with her skill, gives her 2 charges instead of 1. That's good. Her E6, Himeko's ultimate hits 2 more times, with each additional hit dealing damage equal to 40% of her ultimate damage to a random enemy. So it hits once, and then it hits again, and then is it just to one, like hits and then 1-1, or does it hit everything and then 2 enemies also take extra damage? I have no clue at this moment. Himeko's the one I'm hoping to pull, but that's just for personal preference because I loved her in Honkai Impact. But if I don't get her from my, from my regular pulls, after I get that voucher after 300 pulls, I'm definitely picking Himeko. Now to Jing. I actually got him during the beta, so I love this man. He hits like a freaking truck. His attack deals lightning damage to a single enemy. His skill deals lightning damage to all enemies, increases Lightning Lord's attack count by 2. His ultimate deals lightning damage to all enemies and increases Lightning Lord's attack count by 3 for the next turn. His talent, wow, that's a mouthful. Let's see, we got this. We believe in ourselves. We got it. Summons Lightning Lord at the start of the battle. Lightning Lord has 60 base speed and 3 base attack count, and its attack are considered follow-up attacks. Each count of Lightning Lord's attack deals lightning damage to all enemies. Oh, I was wrong. Each count of Lightning Lord's attack deals lightning damage equal to 33% of Jingyuan's attack to a single enemy, whose adjacent targets also receive lightning damage equal to 25% of the damage dealt to the main target. A Lightning Lord's attack count can reach a max of 10. Every time Lightning Lord attack count increases by 1, its speed increases by 10. After the action ends, speed and attack count return to their base values. When Jingyuan is knocked down, the Lightning Lord will disappear. When Jingyuan is affected by crowd control debuff, the Lightning Lord is unable to take action. Ooh, that was a mouthful. His technique. After using Jingyuan's technique, Lightning Lord's attack count in the first turn is increased by 2 at the start of the next battle. That's good. You need to do less buildup. His first trace. If the Lightning Lord's attack count is greater or equal to 6 in the next turn, its crit damage is increased by 20% for the next turn. Next trace. Jingyuan immediately regenerates 15 energy at the beginning of the battle. More energy is good. After using skill, crit rate increases by 10% for 2 turns. That is good. Crit rate, crit damage buffs, always good. Never a bad time. His Eidolons. E1. When Lightning Lord attacks, the damage multiplier on enemies adjacent to the target enemy increased by 25%. Icky. Gross. More damage. We love it. E2. After Lightning Lord takes action, damage caused by Jingyuan's basic attack, skill, and ultimate increased by 20% for 2 turns. Yummy. More damage. It's always about more damage. E4. After each attack count conducted by Lightning Lord, Jingyuan regenerates 2 energy. So you could get 20 every turn, essentially, if you put it up all the way to 10. E6. Every attack count of the Lightning Lord will make the target enemy vulnerable. While vulnerable, enemies receive 12% more damage until the end of the Lightning Lord's current turn, stacking up to 3 times. Ooh. 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 That's gross. So if you stacks up to 3 times, so it's always going to be every attack. That's like disgusting. 36%. They take 36% more damage. Ugh. That's gross. I love it. Jingyuan is very good. I would recommend people pull them. Seele. I didn't pull. Seele, I mean. They say Seele in English, so that's how we're going to go. So Seele is a quantum 5-star hunt character. So she's a single damage unit. Single target damage unit, sorry. Her basic deals quantum damage to the enemy. Her skill deals quantum damage to the enemy. She gains a speed buff. That's good. Her ultimate, Seele enters the buff state and deals quantum damage to a single enemy. Her talent, Seele enters the buff state upon defeating an enemy and receives an extra action. While in the buff state, Seele increases her damage for 1 turn. Enemies defeated in the extra action provided by reappearance will not trigger another reappearance. So if she kills somebody, she gets another turn. And she deals more damage. But she did. So you can't go her turn. But you could also, like, as soon as someone else goes, then you could use her ultimate, and then she could have another turn after that. That's pretty cool. Her technique. After using her technique, Seele gains stealth for 20 seconds. While stealth is active, Seele cannot be detected by enemies. When she attacks enemies or trigger combat, she'll immediately enter the buff state. That's cool. Seele's traces. When her HP is at 50% max HP or lower, reduces the chance of her being targeted. That makes sense. After using a basic attack, Seele's next action will be advanced forward by 20%. So every time she uses her basic, she bumps up a couple notches on the timeline. When in the buff state, her quantum res penetration increases by 20%. So if she's buff, she will cut through more of their quantum defense. Well, that's good. Her Eidolons. E1, the speed boost effect of Seele's skill can stack up to 2 times, so gotta go fast. E2, when dealing damage to an enemy whose HP is at 50% max of HP or lower, her crit rate increases by 15%, more damage. E4, Seele regenerates 15 energy when she defeats an enemy. That's good. E6, after using Seele's ultimate, inflict the target enemy with Butterfly Flurry for 1 turn. Enemies suffering from Butterfly Flurry take additional quantum damage equal to 18% of her ultimate damage every time they are attacked. If the enemy is defeated by the Butterfly Flurry damage triggered by other allies' attack, Seele's talent will not be triggered. When Seele is knocked down, the Butterfly Flurry inflicted on the enemies will be removed. Oh, that's a mouthful. My mouth was like talking too much. All in all, Seele is a very good damage dealer. She's fast. She has extra turns. Now we're going to Welt. If you watched me play the beta, you knew I pulled Welt. He was my first 5-star. He was the only 5-star I pulled aside from Jing Yuan. And I'm a little biased. I think Welt hits like a freaking truck. And I enjoyed playing him quite a bit. His basic, deal imaginary damage to enemy. Welt's skill, slashes 3 times, each dealing imaginary damage to a random enemy. On hit, there is a 65% base chance to reduce enemy's speed. So reduce speed, that's always good. His ultimate deals imaginary damage to all enemies. There's a 100% base chance for enemies hit by this ability to be imprisoned. Imprisoned enemies have their action delayed and speed reduced. So that's very good. You just slow all the enemies and make their action goes back a little bit. His talent, if an enemy hit is already slowed, deal additional imaginary damage. Very good. So slow him, keep hitting him. His technique, after using his technique, create a small black hole zone that lasts for 15 seconds. Enemies who enter this area have their movement speed slowed by 50%. Upon entering battle in the black hole zone, there's a 100% chance for the enemies to have become imprisoned. Imprisoned enemies have their action delayed by 20% and speed reduced by 10%. So more slow. We love the slow. Welt's traces increases Welt's ultimate damage by 25%. So just a base damage boost. So that's all good. Using his ultimate regenerates 10 energy. Also good. Deals 20% more damage to enemies inflicted with weakness break. Maybe he'd be nutty on a weakness break team with like Himeko and Su Sheng. Throw a healer in there to keep him alive. E1. After using his ultimate, his abilities are enhanced. The next 2 times he uses his attack or skill, he will deal additional damage to the target equal to 50% of his basic attack or 80% of his skill damage multiplier respectively. more damage. E2, when his talent is triggered, well, it regenerates 3 energy. The more he regenerates, the more he could use his ultimate. E4, when using Welt's ultimate, there's a 100% base chance to increase the damage received by the target by 12%, 2 turns. So it's like weakening. That's more damage. E6, when using Welt's skill, deal damage for an additional 1 time to a random enemy. So instead of 3 strikes, it deals 4 strikes. More damage. It's a little lackluster for, the final one, but it's life. I like Welt. He's good. I mean, I don't think there's a bad character in this game, but I think the next one we're going to go to is Yanqing. I think that's how you say his name. He is a 5-star ice hunt character. His basic deals ice damage to 1 enemy. His skill deals ice damage to a single enemy and it activates empathic sword link for 1 turn. His ultimate increases Yanqing's crit rate by 60% when empathic sword link is active. Increases Yanqing's crit damage for 1 turn before dealing ice damage to a single enemy. Not bad. His talent. When empathic sword link is active, Yanqing is less likely to be attacked by enemies. His crit rate increases and his crit damage increases. After he attacks an enemy, there is a fixed chance to perform a follow-up attack dealing ice damage to the enemy. There is a 65% base chance to freeze the enemy for 1 turn. The frozen target cannot take action, receives ice DOT, and when Yanqing receives damage, the empathic sword link effect will disappear. Technique. After using his technique at the beginning of the next battle, Yanqing deals 30% more damage for 3 turns to targets whose current HP is equal to or higher than 40% of his max HP. Yanqing's traces. When he attacks, deal additional ice damage equal to 30% of his attack to targets with ice weakness. His next one. When empathic sword link is active, effect res increases by 20%. So he has it so he can't get hit by status effect, or less likely to be hit by them. When crit hit is triggered, increases speed by 10% for 2 turns. More speed is very good. Yanqing's Eidolons. When Yanqing attacks a frozen enemy, he deals ice damage equal to 100% of his attack and removes the frozen effect on the target immediately. So is this on top? I think this is on top. That's good. E2, when empathic sword link is active, energy regeneration rate increases by an additional 12%. When his current HP is above 80%, his ice res penetration increases by 20%. More damage. E6, if an enemy is defeated while Yanqing is receiving buffs from his ultimate, the duration of said buffs increase 1 turn. That's good. So his crit rate, his crit rate, and his crit damage goes up, and they'll stay up if he killed something. That's not bad. He gets an extra turn for that. And so that is all the 5 stars out at the moment. I mean, there's some that aren't out yet, like Kafka, Laucha, Silverwolf, but they won't be playable in 1.0, so I'm not going to look them over. So that's it. So we've looked over all the characters. I'm stoked for everybody. I'll be happy for whoever I get. But for the 5 stars, at least for me, I don't care about how good they are. My number 1, Himeko. Number 2, Clara. Number 3, Bailu. And I'll be happy with those 3. But I'll take anybody. I don't care. But I want Himeko, Clara, then Bailu. And that's going to be it. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll probably see you guys later. You stay safe, stay alive, and stay well.